Hey guys, Teacher Lover here, coming on a video today. So now that the OCG ban list has pretty much come out, and the ban list which I talked about in a previous video, I thought, could this be the real ban list? It's actually the real ban list now. It's pretty much guaranteed that it is. Yeah, so basically with this ban list, I can now sort of think about what are going to be the top decks of next format. Obviously, now that Prophecy and Dragons are pretty much out of the picture, all these tier 2 decks can now take over, and now the game has come a lot more diverse, and that obviously means that stuff like siding is a bit more difficult, but of course you just have to try your best and make the best out of the situation. Now I've come up with when I first thought what would be the top decks of this format, I actually thought there'd only be like 2 or 3. Just think about the decks which couldn't make the cut last format, but actually there's actually quite a lot of interesting decks that have come around now. Some of them have been helped by Judgment of the Light, some of them even didn't even exist before Judgment of the Light, so that's that. I have a nice little list here that we can talk about. Right, so the first one is Bujins. Now, I played Bujins yesterday at my locals, and they're surprisingly good. Obviously, the idea is just to protect Yamato as much as possible, and I feel like right now, Bujinji Turtle, the one that you can banish to negate a card that targets, very, very good card. It makes Yamato incredibly annoying to deal with. You have to resort to stuff like Dark Hole, and obviously that's a one-off card and a power card, and it seems a bit of a waste, and they're just going to have another one, you know, ready to summon and stuff like that. So the power of Tenki with Yamato and Turtle, as well as stuff like Crane and Honest, the deck is incredibly annoying. And then once in Shadow Spectres, the deck will become even more annoying. So I feel like it really does have a good place in this format. Obviously they put tons of cards in their back row, so it's very annoying to beat them. Right, so moving on, we're going to look at Constellars. Now Constellar, they were doing okay last format. They just weren't fast enough to keep up with Dragons, because Pallades and all those other Xyz monsters were really good. It's just that they weren't fast enough and they just couldn't keep up with the power of Dragons. I mean, I don't think any other deck could. But now that the deck's Dragons are gone, Constellar are now really good. Stuff like Bujins and Evil Swarm and other decks like that, they're now much more back row heavy. The whole game has become a lot more centered around back row. Constellar have Omega, which is a fantastic card, which it's basically like Ophion with Pandemic, but except it's built into the card itself. So 2400 that can stop itself from being affected by spells and traps. Very good card. I like that very much. I think it will definitely bring it into the tier 1 status for this format coming up. Evil Swarm, it really is dependent on big monsters. Evil Swarm was good last format because of Dragons being so popular, so Evil Swarm could just stop it instantly. And now they have the power of Master Key Beetle. They have a lot of nice little combos that they can do. But overall, and they also have good access to Abyss Dweller as well. But overall, Evil Swarm is just dependent on stuff like if Mermails are good and Dragoonities and things like that. So we'll have to see if that deck's going to hang around this format. But against stuff like Constellars, they generally lose. So it's not good to play a deck that also loses to another deck. But overall, it's still got a lot of good matchups. Next one is 3 or 4 Xyz Fire Fist. Overall, they're both good decks, but Rooster 1 did hit 3 Xyz somewhat, even though they only need 1 Rooster to go off. But it makes the card a lot more volatile in the sense that it can just get banished or something, and then they can't do anything. They make a lot of minuses when they make plays, stuff like that. So being able to deal with 1 Rooster is a lot easier than having to deal with 3 of them. And 3 Xyz was good. It's just it was. You know, the fact that Mermails are really good now and other decks like that, I don't really know they're really going to put in enough work this format. 4 Xyz Fire Fist is good as well. It's just that they're very slow a lot of the time. Wolfbark is good. It's just I don't really have enough evidence to show that they really are going to stand a chance this format. They have a good matchup against Evil Swarm and somewhat Constellars, and they make good, really nice little advantage plays. But overall, I'm not sure that they've got what it takes to be in this format. The next one is Transmodify Agent / Inzektorz. If you've seen the videos, basically you combine Mystical Shine Ball, Ladybug, Inzektor Hornet, Inzektor Centipede, Inzektor Dragonfly, and Venus, to basically just use Transmodify and Insect into Imitation to basically just like spam the crap out of them, and you don't lose any advantage doing so. Obviously it does lose to Veiler and Maxi quite easily, but it's quite consistent. But until the deck has enough kind of people playing it, and there's a really good build that is really good, and everyone like wants to start playing that build, I can't say that it will be a formidable deck for the next format until then. So we'll have to wait and see if everyone jumps on the bandwagon. And the next one is Tempest Dragoonity. Now Tempest Dragoonity, very, very interesting deck. They can make a fantastic first turn field. You just use Mistletoe with Dux and Dragon Ravine, and you just make a massive field of about 5 cards using Atom, Red Eyes Darkness, Metal Dragon, Stardust Dragon, all these cards. You can make a huge field, and not even stuff like Mermills. There is no deck that can take it out. Tempest Dragoonity has a really good place this format. Obviously, this Dragon Ruler Storms did not get touched whatsoever, so the deck is still good. If you have Max C, then the deck can't do anything. You know, it's nothing that 15 cards drawn off Max C can't handle. The next one is Macro Rabbit. Obviously, it did not really do much in the last format. For the whole 6 months that it was with Rabbit 2, but overall Macro Rabbit is still decent. It just matters on whether or not Mermail is going to be a problem. We don't know that yet, but Macro Rabbit is decent. You know, it's good. It has a good matchup against stuff like Boojins and somewhat Constella's Evil Swarm and all those things. Another one is Karakuris. Now that Bure is going to be reprinted in the tins, Karakuri is more budget, and the deck itself is very, very explosive in what it can do, and I just feel like it's a possibility that it will have a lot more people playing it than people would give it credit for. So one last thing about Karakuri is that they will get Starship Galaxy Tomahawk, which is the one that lets you detach, and then you can summon 3 tokens that are like level 6, and you combine it with the Beredos and everything. You can spam, then you summon Giant Trainer, detached, you just draw 3 cards. You get like so many cards, and you combine it with the dragons and stuff like that. Really, really, really good deck. But it's dependent on the fact that the baby dragons got hit, but they probably have a way to summon this Starship Tomahawk anyway. And obviously the last deck is Mermills. Now Mermills is going to be the top contender of this format. The reasons why is that even though Abyss Teus and Abyss Sphere went to 1, they gained a lot through Trishula and Fishwalk Archer. Fishwalk Archer being that Judgment of the Light common that you can discard a water type to summon it, and then you can do some nice stuff. Trishula, you know, combined with Megalo is amazing. Okay, you can actually OTK with it, I believe, if you do enough damage. I think it just about brings it underneath the damage. I'm not too sure. All you have to do is just summon Diva on an open field and you make a Trish, and that's really ridiculous. You just go with Megalo first, and then you pop their stuff, or you search your Diva through Dragoons, and then you have the Megalo, you bait out the bottomlesses, you bait out all the stuff, and then they have Diva, they go Diva, summon Marksman, you attack over their monster with Megalo, and then you attack with Marksman, summon Dragoons, then you Trish, and then you have all these cards. It's amazing. It's so broken, so broken. I didn't even realize how, I thought Trishula being part of the whole thing would be fine, but actually that whole play is going to be so prevalent in this format that I just feel like if you're not playing Mermills, you're having an uphill struggle. I think they're more powerful than they were last format, and I think if they got Trishula around the time that Dragons existed, I feel they'd be able to stand up to Dragons a lot more. Because Trishula is just absolutely ridiculous. It can just completely kill a lot of decks. Yeah, if you feel like I've missed out lots of decks, then definitely do comment down below a deck that you personally feel is a good contender for next format. And I hope that I've listed a good amount of decks. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, the TCG Lover is out.